Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of In the Paint. This is Max 611, aka Mark Cunningham. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. This is In the Paint, the realest show in sports. My brother, Big Brother R, aka Angus Black, aka Rodney Jones, won't be here tonight. So I will be fulfilling the duties as the boss. And I see you, David. I'm gonna bring you in, brother. Good evening.
What's up, Mark? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I moved my studio down to the basement.
I see the nice chair there. It looks very comfortable, sir.
Yeah, so I can watch the game on the big screen.
Right. How you been?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. You know, hanging in there, trying to survive. You know, this rat race.
Oh yeah.
You know,
we can do.
Before we get into the show and bring other people in, I know you're a big baseball fan and you're a Met fan. So, what's your take on the Mets right now?
You know, I'm happy with what they've been able to accomplish with all the injuries.
Right.
All I could really ask for is that they keep themselves in it until guys get healthy and come back.
Right.
But the pitching has really been outstanding, and you know, I can't say enough about that. You know, they lost last night, but you know they've been on quite a good run. So I got no complaints about it. You know, again, I'm just hoping that guys can come back healthy, you know, so that they can make a real push. But the fact that they've maintained and kept themselves in it is really all you can ask for.
Right. And you know, DeGrom worries me. He's had a couple of little nagging things happen.
Yeah. You know, so, I don't know whether, you know, they're downplaying it or if it's something more serious, you know, because shoulder issues, it could be just, you know, a little tightness or it could be an indicator of something that we need to worry about. You know, these guys are as good as they are. A lot of these guys are kind of fragile to me, you know, so it's scary and you really got to handle them with, you know, kid gloves.
Right.
You know, but he's been amazing, and you know, Stroman got the loss last night, but you know, he just made one mistake.
Right.
Baez home run, I think it was, in the first inning, and you know, Walker has really been good.
Yes,
you know?
he has.
So they are getting the pitching, and some of the offensive woes that they had early in the season, now they seem to be scoring enough, you know, to allow for the pitching to hold up. So in that regard, you know, I really can't ask for anything else. I mean, they're you know, up at the top of the division, you know, even though they've got a lot of makeup games coming up, you know, because they had a lot of games that you know, they started the season not playing because of the Nationals with the COVID situation. So that was 3 games already they missed, and then they had a lot of rainouts, you know, in April and May. So sometimes, you know, that might bring them back to the pack a little bit, or they might, you know, take off even more. You never know with baseball.
Right. What are you? What's? Oh, excuse me. What's your take on the rest of the National League? Specifically the NL East first.
The NL East can't seem to get out of their way. You know, I think injuries have affected all across the league, but I think the Braves will be around. You know, they're a really good team. I don't see anybody that is a clear leader of the pack in the division so far. I don't believe in Washington.
Right.
Philly, I think, still can be dangerous, even though I can't stand them.
Yeah,
you know,
they do have a talented roster.
Yes, and they're capable of running off some wins. You know, sneakily, don't sleep on Miami.
Right.
They're young, but I think they've got a lot of talent. But I think really the Braves would be the my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
I think on paper, pitching aside, they might even be better than the Mets are.
Right.
But I think that the Mets have. I think they've played above a lot of their ability so far. That's
Right.
just because of the in and out, the shuffle with all these new untested players that I don't know half the lineup because they're always replacing somebody because of injuries. But they've managed to put it together, and I don't know if that's a testament to Rojas. I'm not ready to say that yet, but
Right.
they are winning. So
Right.
that's the name of the game.
Right. Met fan base wants his head for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking, I'm like, okay, they have injuries. Some they're not as good as we think they are. They are good and can be good, but they aren't as good as they can be.
Yeah, and I think that's really the way I have to look at it. I don't the players that they're putting out there are half of them are not major leaguers.
Right.
Really. And the fact that they are able to win, it's a testament, of course, to that pitching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing just enough. So I give them a pass on all of that, including Rojas. I think the problem with a lot of Met fans is he was not who they wanted.
Right.
He wasn't the quote unquote sexy candidate. But hey, you never know. So look, I'm willing to. Last year I don't count because last year to me wasn't even baseball.
Right.
So really I'm looking at this as year one for him.
Right. Right.
And then we'll see now the rest of the league. The Dodgers are always going to be there. I think San Diego is scary.
Right. They got me wanting to go get one of their jerseys because their jerseys are kind of tight. The hat is tight.
Yeah.
And I used to like the old jersey also.
Oh, I used to like
chocolate
it too.
Jersey.
Yeah. It was unique, and it was kind of cool for that era. There were some other uniforms that weren't so great. In that era, we had a lot of misses in that time, but. I used to like Montreal Expos.
Yes.
I thought that was real cool with the helmet and the hats with the multicolors, and actually the old Houston Astros.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. It used to be here in New York. New York is a unique city in that we have a lot of people who aren't native New Yorkers.
Right.
And then we have the native New Yorkers who just for fashion sense bought different hats and different jerseys. I saw a lot of Montreal hats in this city. I saw a lot of Pittsburgh Pirates in this hats in this city. Believe it or not, a lot of Boston Red Sox hats in this city.
Absolutely. Well, it's so funny too because we grew up in an era where you were baseball fans. You had your team, but you didn't get a lot of like shame or ridicule for rocking another hat. You were like a fan and of baseball, and they had some cool hats. So because they used to sell them right there in the stadium. Mm-hmm. When you would go to Shea and I guess Yankee Stadium. What they used to always do is whoever the team that they were playing, they had their hats too, and then as new era hats became more popular, they had all of that. You could just go in there and buy the various hats.
Right.
So they were like collector's stuff, and you would rock this hat, or this jersey because you like the player or you like the way the jersey looked, and it was just more of a fashion statement. So you can get away with that more back then. R and I, he'll tell you, when we were kids, we used to play a lot of wiffle ball.
Right.
And he would come over my house and play in my backyard. I played in his backyard, and we would always pick who we wanted to be, what team we wanted to be, and let's say I picked the Mets, and he might pick the Dodgers, and we knew the whole lineups, and so we would, if I was at his house, then he was the home team, and so and it was just be the two of us, and we would go through the whole lineup and imitate the batting stances of the players. And if a guy was lefty, we had to hit lefty. Well, R was a natural left-handed hitter, even though he throws right. He's a lefty bat. So I learned how to switch hit because we would
from my grandfather though.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was very helpful. So R would have to bat righty if it was a right-handed, guy, which kind of put him at a little disadvantage because most guys were righty. Right. But we would play the games full out, and just the two of us have a lot of fun with that. So pretending and following other teams, it was understood. You were like a Met fan, but you could root for or pretend to be the Dodgers or the whoever it was. I have family in Milwaukee, so a couple of summers back in 78, 79, I went to Milwaukee, and I went to the games. Old Milwaukee County Stadium, and the True Blue Brew Crew with Gorman Thomas and Cecil Cooper and Ben Ogilvy and those guys. Right. And the
Harvey Wallbangers.
Harvey Wallbangers, yes. And the funny story is I went to a series. I went to Friday night and Sunday of a Yankee Brewers series back in 1979. And I was a big Reggie Jackson fan. So as a kid, I had the gold frame glasses, and I had a full Yankee uniform with 44 on the back. Right. And I went to the game Friday night. I go to the game and I'm wearing a full Yankee uniform, and I'm in Milwaukee. I'm 14 years old, and Reggie Jackson actually gets into a fight. And it was like a bench clearing brawl with the Yankees and the Brewers. And the first the fans are like, Yankees suck. Then they're like, New York sucks. No, first it was Reggie sucks, then Yankees suck, then New York sucks. And I'm sitting in a stadium with about 40,000 fans screaming New York sucks, and I got on a full Yankee uniform. And I'm 14 years old. I'm with a couple of guys that were from the neighborhood. My father's cousin had a convenience store, and so these were guys that were in the neighborhood, and I was scared. We got on the bus and had to go back home. But I went to the game. I didn't go to the Saturday game. I went to the Sunday afternoon game, and Greg Nettles got into a fight. So it was that kind of series, and so. What I always remember though, it was that Sunday, and then that Thursday is when Thurman Munson died. Oh, so I got to see one of Thurman's last games. In fact, that Sunday he didn't catch. He played first base that game. They gave him a little break, and then Thurman died a few days later, and I was still in Milwaukee when he passed away.
Wow, that's a unique, cool story.
Yeah. Well, even crazier is, do you remember, like how today they have memes, but you remember when we were kids, they would have like funny images on the t-shirt, iron-on t-shirts and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you remember, there used to be a poster of like a baby, and he had a bowl of spaghetti on top of his head, and the spaghetti was like, it was like a kid made a mess. It was that kind of thing. So I'm in the park. I had a cousin who played basketball. He was in the tournament in the park in Milwaukee. He was really good too. And so I'm walking in the park. This is that Thursday, that Thermodon. And from the distance, I see a kid walking towards me, and he's wearing a black shirt. And I see Thurman Munson's face on the shirt. And I'm like, that's weird. You know, they hate the Yankees. Why would a kid in Milwaukee be wearing a Thurman Munson T-shirt?
Right.
Kid gets closer. It's not Thurman Munson. It's the baby with the bowl on top of his head. Nothing like Thurman Munson. Don't think anything of it. Go home. And my cousin says to me, "Oh, did you hear about the baseball player who died?" I'm like, "What baseball player?" And he's like, "Thurman Munson."
Right.
And the time that he died was right around the time that I saw his face on the shirt.
Wow.
I'll never forget that. Yeah, that is real life. It freaked me out. And the next day I had to fly back to New York. And so I'm like, damn, I gotta get on a plane now, you know, all this stuff. Yeah. So
and he just died.
Yeah. So true story.
True story. Let me ask you, I don't know if you've been following the Yankees because I know you're more of a Met fan. Have you been watching the Yankees as well?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't. I mean, I've kept up a little bit. So I know they have some injury issues too. But yeah, I couldn't tell you much. I'll be honest with you. I was been traveling, the past week.
Right.
I was in Atlanta. Taking care of some family stuff. Right. And haven't really watched a whole lot. So, I keep up with the Mets, but I haven't watched any other stuff. Not that I don't like the Yankees. It's just that I haven't been watching much. So this is the first time I'm really just sitting down in front of the TV. I got the basketball game on, and
yeah. The Yankee fans are calling for Aaron Boone's head. I don't think it's totally his fault because they don't have a deep roster. And like you said, they got injuries. Aaron Hicks is hurt. Center fielder guy Luke Voigt is still out.
Right.
He's trying to come back. And other injuries that they've had. Andujar has had one. Not Andujar.
What's the kid?
The third baseman.
It just went out of my head, but yeah.
Right. I wish we had Dom here.
Dom.
Chandler. But it's not totally his fault. Stanton can't play for some reason. He can't play the field anymore, which is odd.
Yeah, it's funny about Stanton. He's a guy that when he was with the Marlins, I was like, oh man, if the Mets could ever get this guy, because we were looking for an outfielder at the time, and it's the health issues. I just don't get it. Some of these guys are so big, and they just can't stay healthy. Right. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the weight training that they do, or I don't know. But.
Well, you know what? I think as somebody who played sports at a certain level and played, recreational sports in different leagues and tournaments and stuff, being overly muscular doesn't help you in the long run.
No, it doesn't.
I think you should be more flexible as opposed to your muscles being, so tight and like even when I look at bodybuilders, I'm like, your muscles are abnormally too tight.
Yeah, right.
It looks good, but
But you fill out the uniform, but if these guys, like you say, they don't have the flexibility. And guys back in the day, they frown upon lifting weights. Right. They did cardio stuff, and but to actually go in there and weight train, and nowadays it's like the thing. I guess after the steroid era, and then they decided, well, now let's naturally pump up and so forth. But it doesn't really translate, because you can have guys who are more wiry They're not really bulky. They're lean, but they're strong.
Right.
I think about a guy like Strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
Straw was strong as hell,
Yes.
but he was
And
lean and
right.
he was just just had that natural strength. And I think a lot of guys. I mean, if you look at, I once went to City Field when it first opened up. I actually got a tour, and they take you to the locker room, and they got a serious weight room in there with all kinds. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And guys, before game or after game, they're there working on that. And I think that it does contribute. Like, to your point, I think it definitely contributes to it.
Yeah, and Stanton is he's a big guy. He's what, 6'4", 2 and change.
Yeah, and then what is Judge, like 6'7" or something like that?
6'7", 2 and almost 250.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, I've got Judge in the weight category, but he's got me in the height category.
Right. Yeah, it's that. You ready to move on to the NBA?
Sure.
All right. Atlanta currently playing Philadelphia. Atlanta is up 3-2. If they win tonight, it's bye Philadelphia. Philadelphia is winning right now. They're at the end of the third quarter, 75-74. The thing in this series is everybody's coming down on Ben Simmons because of some of his deficiencies. What are your thoughts on this series and your thoughts on Ben Simmons?
Well, my thoughts on the series is I'm pissed at Philly. I don't like Philly, but and ordinarily I would probably be rooting for Atlanta, but I'm still a little sore. Not just the fact that they beat the Knicks, but the fact that they kicked our ass. I'll just put it to you like that. They bodied us and then talk crap about us. They basically said bye, and then they were, so they embraced that villain role, and which made me like want somebody to kick their ass. Right. And Philly, I thought that, and it's not over, but I wanted them to shut them up. And so it's kind of mixed feelings because I don't like Philly, but I would like some of that smugness wiped off of Trae Young and Collins. These guys, all of a sudden now, these guys got some balls and they're talking crap. So I don't know. It's mixed feelings about it because I have to appreciate what Atlanta is doing. And then also the fact that they're doing this to Philly then kind of makes me feel like, okay, takes the Knicks off, some of the criticism away from the losing to them, because now people are seeing, well, these guys are legit. So it's comes and goes, with that. But Philly, then Ben Simmons particularly, that's a problem. This guy is, a great player, I think, but those deficiencies are going to hang over his, like an albatross until he works. This is something, well, that's correctable.
Yep.
It's guys work on that, and he's going to have to. He's never been a good shooter, but the free throw, that should be a gimme.
Right. As a professional basketball player, if you can't hit at least 70% from the free throw line, it's a problem.
That's a problem. That's a problem. And they're almost like, I've seen it where they get excited when he's going to the line. Atlanta. It's like Trae Young is like clapping, like and the guy is just Brick City, and so that's really glaring in this series, especially if they lose. They're going to look at reasons why Philly lost, and The other night, I was watching a highlight of that, or a low light, whatever you want to call it, and they were just running brick after brick after brick. And I mean, come on, guy, they're paying you to make these baskets. This is the guy,
Right.
the last guy on the bench can shoot better than that.
Right.
If you put him on the line for free throw, and so
Right.
it comes down to the end of the game, and it's close. And I don't know if he can handle that pressure.
Right. It's funny. Growing up in New York City and playing basketball all my life, somebody told me, "Hey, you want to go to this level, which is go to college?
Yeah,
you better learn how to shoot," because I was always quick.
Right.
So
right.
I could always get to the basket.
Yeah.
I couldn't really shoot, and coach pulled me to the side and he said, that's nice what you're doing, but you gonna go nowhere.
That's right.
So me and one of my friends, every morning we worked on shooting, and I got to where I became competent, and it got me to another level. I have a cousin. He's athletically way more gifted than I am, but he's about my height. Maybe an inch taller, and he's got that beautiful built structured body. I've always been skinny, so I had to sit him down because he was all about getting to the basket and dribbling and handles and trying to dunk on people. I'm like, whoa,
chill. You
ain't gonna be able to dunk on everybody forever.
That's right. And if they foul you and send you to the line.
So he couldn't shoot. And I told him, you need to work on your jumper. And it became his jumper's better than mine. And he's athletic. So it got him to a college. And he also got a scholarship. His son is about 6 years old now.
Yeah.
When he was about 4, he come to the gym to watch us play.
Yeah.
And he told me one day, he's like, "Cousin Mark, sometimes you miss your jump shots. I'm gonna be like my daddy. He never misses."
Wow. And
I'm like,
give
what?
A little history lesson.
I'm like, what? You miss sometimes. He said, but my daddy makes it all the time.
Damn.
Like, all right.
Damn, you getting Yeah, that was one thing that I had to learn how to shoot because I wasn't quick. So I had a hoop in my backyard, and I would just shoot and I developed like the corner three. Well, back then when I was playing, the three wasn't even a thing.
It wasn't.
And you look at it, even like when they implemented guys like Larry Bird, who's one of the best shooters. He didn't shoot all these threes in the game. Not like they do today.
He actually said, I remember Larry Bird saying, he was like, "Fuck the three. I don't care about that."
Exactly. I mean, he could show out in a 3-point contest, but that wasn't part of his game. Nowadays, I tell you, I always say, I work in a high school and I get to see these boys love basketball. So anytime there's an opportunity for open gym or whatever, and they're playing ball, and you see these kids shooting from half court, and they're doing, all this, they've been watching Curry. And
they want to be Curry and Dame Lillard.
That's right.
Trae Young and shoot from half court.
Exactly. And if you watch a game, it's so hard because you see guys just standing around like, "Come on, man, pass me the ball or something. I'm open. I'm under the basket." And the kid they do two things. They try to cross somebody to break their ankles, and they try to do a crazy step back three from like half court. And if it ever goes in, you can miss 9 of them. You hit one of them, the whole gym goes crazy. But dude, you're shooting 1 for 10. So so while it's exciting, I think it's hurt a lot of the younger players coming up, if they're
Right.
not well coached, and they just see it and think that is the way to be, and then like you see that other game where somebody like Chris Paul, where he worked on the mid range, and he just 2 points is still better than none.
Yep.
So the three can be a weapon, but you can live and die with that three.
Yeah, as we seen a couple of years ago, Houston in the playoffs.
Yes.
They shot 0 for 27 from
Yes.
the three line, and I was watching that game. I'm like, why are y'all and it's the coach.
It's the coach. Yes, absolutely. You got to say, next
he
guy.
Didn't tell them to drive to the hole. Let's post somebody up.
Right. I mean, you
go back to the threes, but they just miss. And
absolutely.
Ben Simmons needs to work on his game. He needs to work on the jump shot. And
he's got a lot to work on. Yeah. He's still young. He's young enough that he can correct things. But he's got to see for himself that he's got to make this change. He's got to put that work in.
Right. What's funny is nobody has set him down and said, "Listen, you're already you're 6'10".
Right.
We don't you can't teach height.
Exactly.
You're 6'10". You're extremely quick. You're fundamentally sound in that you're a 6'10" guy who could play the point.
Right.
So you can handle the ball and but you can't shoot. If he could shoot a little better, he would be damn near unstoppable.
Well, it would cause teams to have to adjust to that. Right now they don't have to D him outside of 10 feet.
Right.
They're looking like, well, if he makes it, it's going to be rare, so it's worth the risk. So he's not challenging defenses.
Right.
And that's the problem. And he's too big and gifted that for somebody not to take him to the side and say, look, this is what I want you to work on all summer. Yep. This and only this. I want you to get into the basket. You know how to do. I need you to work on shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if he takes it seriously enough, he has the ability to really turn it around. But if he doesn't, he's going to be a project somewhere else.
Yep. The hater is here. You know who that is. I'm about to bring him in.
Bishop?
The Bishop.
Yes.
We're talking about Ben Simmons and how he needs to do something with himself in terms of working on that jump shot and working on the free throw line. Your thoughts, my brother, on the series, and also get your hate out on Ben Simmons.
Yeah, so to me, it's like the reason why they lost those games is not because Embiid is not delivering in the fourth quarter.
Embiid is balling out.
Simmons is not. No, I'm saying they're highlighting his fourth quarter stats. It's like, Simmons is killing them like all game, like 3 of 14 from the free throw line. If you take 7 more points, they win that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Easy. Yeah. The other game, it was like 2 for like something. If you take all of those misses, those free points, that's like 8 to 10 points. You win the game.
Yeah.
You win the game. It's like Atlanta is doing a good job of managing the game. They're managing the game, meaning like they don't allow the 76ers to get too far ahead. And if they do get far ahead, it's so much basketball time left. For some reason, it's like they're able to, I don't know, like why Doc Rivers is afraid to like put more on Shake Milton's shoulders.
Or the
George Hill.
The kid, Maxey. Maxey's playing well tonight.
Maxey gets buckets. Like put him, like let Trey have to guard him. Is they're about the same size, like height wise, but he's like muscular, and it's like you got to guard somebody too. And it's like, well, I would get Simmons off the ball. I would get him off the ball.
Then you also got Dwight Howard bricking the other bricklayer.
Yeah, but I'm not so concerned about Dwight Howard for the simple fact he ain't got the ball. Ben Simmons got the ball, and they basically game planning around him having the ball. And it's like you go to the line. It's like, okay, you get paid millions of dollars to shoot a free throw. Like that's like disrespectful to the game to me. It's like, so you mean to tell me? And it's not like they can say, oh, he has a phobia of shooting or whatever. That's what you do. That's what you do. Yeah. It's like, yo, these guys, if you got a phobia, there's some dudes that shoot so much, they close their eyes before they shoot.
Right.
Because it's muscle memory.
It's muscle
It's
memory.
not even a phobia. It's his unwillingness to get in the gym and work on that. Because they wanted him to work on aspects of his game. And he's like, nah, I'm good. No, you're not.
No, you're not. How can you? Have you seen the videos? I mean, they need to give. Yeah, they need to show them the other night. They need to give Ben Simmons a shoe sponsorship with Timberland because he got some construction boots on, laying all those bricks.
He's again like I don't understand. I don't understand professional basketball players not able to. I'm not saying that he has to be Steph Curry. I'm not saying that he has to. Right. I'm not even saying that he has to be like one of those 95% shooters from the line. But you at least, as a starter, you at least have to be about 75 and a ball handler.
Yeah.
And a ball handler, you should be making your free throws at least 75% of the time. And that's being generous. At least 75% of the time, you should be able to step up and make your free throws. It's like I watch him. It's like he don't even care. It's like he just want to get it over. He just want to get that part of the game over.
He's a liability.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Listen, Embiid has. I know it's people that don't like Joel Embiid, and our brother Bishop from school, he's like, I turned the game off. I can't stand him so much. I'm like, he's balling out, man. Whether you like him or not, you know, he's playing with a tear in his knee, which we've criticized him. I know I have, and guys who are on the show with us have criticized him for not being in shape, not playing through injuries, and right now he's getting almost 40 points a night and 15 rebounds. What more can you ask from your franchise player?
Agreed. This game is it got a little chippy here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course it would, because it's win or go home.
Yeah.
It's win or go home, and it should have gotten chippy from the time that they got the lead and they trying to press up and it should have got chippy then, because it's like, yo, you needed to in game like that second game that they won. That should have been your cue to be like, yo, we coming out. It's gonna be physical. Yep. Clint Capella got the same issue. You get the ball down there, we fouling you. Fouling you, no uncertain terms. Trae Young, you drive the ball. We're not backing up. You can shoot the floater, but you're gonna feel it afterwards. You want to drive to the basket? That's cool. You're gonna feel it. Get your money's worth. You want to like push against the player to get the foul, like you dribble and then you run into the player and then go up and shoot. That's fine, but you're gonna feel it. I'm gonna earn this foul.
Right. I heard they're gonna look into that and make a rule, which I think they should, because players like him, James Harden, a couple other players, they've been getting away with that. Reggie Miller used to get away with that for years, and they need to make that rule. You can't just jump into the player.
Right.
You know,
well, it's the referee's fault.
It's
the referee's fault. It's like they need to, if you as the offensive player create the contact by diving into the defensive player, because the defensive players, they have the right to space as well. then they shouldn't make that call. They shouldn't make the call.
Right.
Right. Especially if the player isn't moving or he's moving away from the guy, you still
right.
You're
It's
not
like,
trying to make a shot. You're trying to, go
draw a foul.
Right. Yeah.
Draw a foul.
I see Trey do that all the time, and a lot of other players do. I can't stand it. And I'm glad that they're finally addressing it because it's a non-basketball move. I mean, you're not shooting; you're trying to get a foul.
So one of the things that, like, when I used to play, like 4 times a week, when dudes would do that, because you always had guys that would like do that, like bump into you or throw the elbow
and then
or
say
throw the
my
arm
ball.
out, throw the arm out or whatever. It's like, so you're already expecting it. So when they're ready to do that, you get your money's worth.
Oh, absolutely.
You get your money's worth, or you initiate it too. Either way, you're going to get your money's worth. And after 2 or 3 games, you getting your money's worth. Then they're like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
No, I'm absolutely for that. That's where I used to play too. I mean, if you're going to do that, and I'm telling you, stop. Then the only way you're going to learn how to stop is if you suffer the consequences. I mean, I did that playing football. I used to play against a guy who used to like to push off all the time, and I was playing defensive back. And finally, one time I just let him jump up in the air and catch the ball, and I just laid him out. You can have the catch, but he was done. Mm-hmm. And I just stepped right over him and said, "Let's keep playing."
Yeah,
he didn't do that again.
It's like that. There's no way, I know Atlanta won those games, but there's no way that Atlanta is a better team than Philly. No way.
Not on paper.
No, not on paper.
They're not a better team, and it's just what they've done. They've basically highlighted the faults, and it's like, okay, well, Atlanta has faults too. Like Trae Young can't guard anybody. He's too small to guard anybody.
Right. Absolutely.
He's too small to guard anybody.
You think he can't even guard Steph Curry, who's about?
He can't guard Steph Curry. No, he can't even. He plays no defense. He's
he
offense.
doesn't really. Right.
He plays like if he's guarding someone, he plays the Olay defense and moves to the side. Yeah. It's like, okay, so that means that your big man gonna be getting in foul trouble. So, and it's like, what's the name? Tobias Harris. It's like, yo, dude, you should be toasting anybody that stands in front of you. Anybody that stands in front of you, you should be toasting them. Because it's like, at the end of the day, it's you and Embiid that are the primary scorers. And although I don't like the fact that Simmons has a lot of limitations in his game, selfishness is not one of them.
Right.
So he's willing to hook people up with passes. So it's like Tobias Harris. Right. It's like Tobias Harris. Like, why aren't you getting the passes off the screens? Like, you should be getting at least like 15 to 20 touches a game. Playing with Embiid because he don't want to shoot. And when Embiid goes to the bench, guess who's the focus of the offense? You.
Well, he doesn't want to be that guy, so that's why Philly is, losing 3-2 and possibly could lose this game.
They're paying them too.
Let's move on a little. Brooklyn Nets is tied 3-3 with the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis said, "I'm not having it," and I think, and Bishop might agree with me that Nash is wearing out his starters, and shortening the bench is not a smart move, and giving Jeff Green and James Harden, who are coming off, they're coming off injuries and playing with injuries, you playing them 35, 40 minutes a night. You play KD 48 minutes one night, and KD's been playing over 40 minutes throughout the playoffs. To quote Dom, the wheels on the bus are about to fall off.
Well, one of the things that you have to stay aware of is like, so Kevin Durant just ruptured his Achilles tendon. That was a year and a half of the rehab and stuff. So when you rupture an Achilles tendon, that's from the wear and tear on that tendon. Both sides are getting the same wear and tear. Right. So it's only a matter of time if you continue at the level that it's only a matter of time before you either partial tear or you get like some serious tendonitis in it. Because again, even though he only weighs about 125 pounds soaking wet, you still are getting that wear and tear on that tendon. So maybe the one that he ruptured there's nothing to be concerned about, but it's the other one.
Right.
Yeah.
That he's got to be concerned about.
And
48 minutes, yeah.
Right, and he's skinny. He's on the he's fragile looking.
Yeah, fragile looking. Yeah.
But still, it's like wear and tear. That's a lot.
You playing? Go ahead, David.
I mean, this is a series that should have been an Eastern Conference Final series to me. But that's not the way it played out. Yeah, due to seeding, but that would have been like the matchup, because I mean they still got, if they win tomorrow night, they still got 2 more series to win a championship, and I don't know that they hold up. I mean, this is the thing that we talked about with our during the season as we got closer to the playoffs, the injuries were a concern. On paper, the Nets look formidable. I mean, they look like they're a championship team, but we knew that they didn't play full capacity throughout the season, and then the wear and tear and the grind of the playoffs, which elevates everything, exponentially. These guys are fragile as it is. Kyrie's injury was, it was sort of freakish. I mean, this wasn't something that, I say, he could have done differently. It just happened like that. But that's par for the course with the guys that we're talking about. And so when you build your team around these guys, they are as good as they are. They're injury prone. We used to have kids like that. When we were growing up, some guys would just find a way to get hurt. And I kind of was the run through a wall type of kid, and would somehow be able to get up and play the next day. But a lot of guys, they would hangnail or something like that, and they're out.
Cat wants to be in the show.
Yeah. So, with Brooklyn, you had to at least acknowledge that is a danger.
So to me, it's like this series should be over already. This series should be over already. Giannis sabotaged his team 2 games in a row, and this shouldn't even be a series. It shouldn't even be a series because the Milwaukee Bucks are a better team than the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm not just saying that because I don't like the Brooklyn novellas. I'm not just saying it because I don't like them, but they're a better team. And Giannis is like, okay, so you played the whole season, and you haven't been glutting yourself with 3-pointers. You played a whole season, and you haven't been glutting yourself.
Bishop. I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Can't hear you.
I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear
him. Testing. 1,
I don't
2.
hear him.
1, 2.
Yeah, I hear you, Bishop. Do you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you, David.
Yeah, I hear. I hear
Bishop. Say testing.
Yes?
Testing 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2, 1, 2.
All right. Yeah, I missed. And I think our listeners missed your whole paragraph you spoke. Could you repeat it or try to rehash what you said?
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I heard everything you said. It's interesting.
Yeah. So Giannis, you played a whole season without jacking up 3-pointers, without shooting a glut of 3-pointers in a game. Then you played a whole season without taking one-legged fadeaways in a post. And now all of a sudden in the playoffs, you want to explore your dribbling ability on the perimeter, as well as your 3-point shooting ability and your ability to take shots off of one leg. So you're trying to morph into James Harden. No, you're trying to morph into James Harden, Chris Middleton and KD in the playoffs, and you still shooting the air balls from the free throw line, which is what I said before. I don't understand how he even got one MVP, let alone two, because he's not really the best that the league has to offer. And it's like you can see that clearly in this series. It's like you're really not the best. Like you shouldn't have won. And this is the same game that he had. This is the same game that he had for those two MVP seasons.
It's you got to put some of that on the coach. If you can't just let somebody do what they're not good at and not focus on what they're good at and lessen on what you don't want them to do. But that's on the coach.
He's breaking plays. He's breaking plays. Well, to me, I think that they should have addressed that after they re-signed him. After they re-signed him, they should have addressed that.
After they gave him the keys to the kingdom, he decided to show his ass.
Immediately, that should have been part of their condition. Like you talk about that, because again, you have a premier point guard, you have a premier scorer in the half court, which is what you need in the playoffs. You need somebody who can consistently give you buckets. Chris Middleton had 38 points off of 16 shots. Yep. That's crazy. 38 points off of 16 shots.
That's because he plays within himself and is efficient and plays efficient basketball.
That's KD. Yeah, that's KD like shooting. 38 points off of 16 shots. And again, it's like I used to think that it was all a coach, but I realized like Giannis is he doesn't want anybody else to shine. So when he feels like Middleton is shining too much, then he wants to step in the spotlight. And it's kind of when I watch those games, it's like, okay, so if Middleton is hot, normally if a guy is hot and they're not missing, what do? You feed that guy. You feed that guy. He gets the rebound. Drew Holiday is standing there waiting for him to kick the ball out. He ignores Drew Holiday, dribbles the ball up, gets to the top of the key, dribbles side to side, side to side, side to side, and then does the LeBron, backs up a few steps, tries to get a running start, and it's just like everybody's just standing there waiting. So it's either a turnover or like a jacked up pass. And I've watched Brent Forbes. Brent Forbes is shooting 48% from the 3-point line in these playoffs. 48%. I've watched Giannis look him off like 3 or 4 times. He's shooting 48%. So you look him off to take your 3-point shot when you're shooting 29%. You watching the game?
Yeah. Embiid is funny. Embiid is funny. He swing at him, but he's
body. Yeah, boy.
Who's that? Capella?
No, it wasn't Capella. It was one of the smaller guys on Atlanta. He was up under Embiid as Embiid grabbed the rebound and then proceeded to, lay it up, dunk on him, and they fell. And they're gonna replay it again. Oh, it was Collins.
Oh, is he body Collins?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he hit him with an elbow. I don't think he did that on purpose.
As he was going up.
Yeah, get out the way.
Yeah.
Get out the way.
You're too small.
It's like, get out the way. You're too light. You're too light in the pants. Get out the way.
Okay, I see.
And then he opened his arms.
Yeah.
He opened up his arms and he said, He didn't swing on him, but he moved him with his chest.
Yeah,
because he's too light. It's like, you're not in my weight class, dude. Like, you're not in my weight class.
He walked him into the basketball stanchion.
It was almost like Collins got up with all that energy and then realized, I can't mess with this guy. And all of a sudden now he's looking like, can't we, stop this and, be friends.
Let's talk about this.
He wanted to hug him. He wanted to hug him afterwards.
So let me ask y'all, do does anybody get a flagrant? Anybody get tossed for this? Or is it just, do we just give them text?
They're not going to toss
I would give him
Embiid.
check. Yeah.
They're not going to toss Embiid.
If they do, that's crazy because he
yeah.
wasn't. Well, he was the who was the aggressor.
Well, to me, what I think what happened, what I saw was Embiid went up. I mean, they were pushing and shoving for the rebound to begin with. Embiid got the rebound as he was going up. He inadvertently hit him, might elbowed him,
Right,
and it didn't look as bad as I don't think it was as bad as it looked. I mean, but Collins falls back, and then on the floor he decides to look like he tried to swing at him on the floor. Collins tried to hit Embiid while he was on the floor, and that's when Embiid, as they got up grappling, and then Embiid, said it with his chest. And that's when Collins was like, "No, this is stupid. What are we doing here?"
Yeah.
My brother.
Yeah, exactly.
My brother.
Exactly.
I think Milwaukee is gonna beat Brooklyn. Not because I have any hate towards Brooklyn. It's just that I see KD is worn out. Jeff Green isn't gonna have a game like he had before. Joe Harris has been invisible.
Harris is not. Yeah. He's really disappeared.
Nash hasn't. The Nets have a bench. Nash has decided to do what he's done, from his mentor, Mike D'Antoni, who's sitting next to him. And Mike D'Antoni every year shortens the bench in the playoffs. They go out jacking a lot of threes, and KD has been inefficient as of late. Last night he had 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter. He didn't shoot well from the 3 line. He didn't particularly shoot well all game from anywhere, and they probably gonna go home.
Well, when was the last time D'Antoni won?
Never.
Using that style, using that. So the mentor hasn't done anything either. So he's following a failing, strategy. I think you're right though. I think even if they do get past, they're going to burn them out. And whoever they play, Philly or Atlanta, if they play in Atlanta, Trae Young might run all over.
I think they could beat Atlanta. I think they have a problem with Philly though. If Philly
but
gets past
you know what? If Atlanta wins this thing, then they're just building more and more confidence. I think that, the Nets are obviously the better team, but in each case, Atlanta has been, the underdog. I mean, even in the Knicks series, we thought it was going to be different than it was. I didn't put much credit, in Atlanta, but they showed me something. So I don't know. It's up in the air.
I'm looking at him again.
This is hilarious.
I want to do that to somebody.
Look at Trae Young trying to push him. What did they say? Because I don't have the sound on.
I don't have the sound on. It's funny. Collins is a tall guy, but he looks like
skinny.
Yeah, he's real skinny. He looks like Embiid's little brother.
Yeah.
Let's move on a little. LA Clippers versus Utah Jazz. Kawhi Leonard is injured. He suffered a knee injury. He might not be back for the rest of this series. What are you guys' thoughts on what's transpiring?
Well, considering that Donovan Mitchell is the greatest Jazz of all time player of all time, then I'd say that I don't know that the Clippers can win without Kawhi.
Well, they won the last game.
Yeah,
can they do it again?
But yeah, I was being facetious about the Donovan
I know.
Mitchell. That's why.
I know. That's why I gave you this look.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't followed it as much. I look at the scores, but sometimes those games are so late.
Right.
Like tonight, 10 o'clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
and
don't
if you
know.
weren't on the air with us, you'd probably be asleep right now.
I sure would. Or getting ready to be asleep.
Or falling asleep in your nice chair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What about you, Bish?
The Utah series?
Yeah.
He
called it the Utah series.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying before, like before my account got hacked, when I had sent out the thing on Paul George. It's like Paul George, when I watch him play, like as long as he's not concerned about like flopping on offense or defense, trying to draw fouls, he's fine. Like if he's just balling, like there's no, like he averages 20 points for his whole career. He averages 20 points a game. And then those nights where he's focused on just balling and penetrating and creating and being a facilitator, those are the nights that he has the special performances. And it's not outrageous that he would have a 38-point game.
Right.
That's like kind of like what's expected. And it was like,
right. He's a guy who can get 20 points. He can get 10 rebounds if need be. So he gets about 7, and he's a facilitator. He gets about 5-6 assists. Good all around play. It's just something up here sometimes with him.
No, it's like he gets stuck in this. Like I watch some of them games, and it's like if he doesn't get the fouls drawn that he wants to get drawn, like he'll be dribbling and then he'll have a hesitation and he'll jerk his body back like the person is like fouling him, or like if the person is dribbling, he'll try to dive in front of them and then like throw himself back to get the offensive foul. It's like, dude, just play straight up defense. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to do all of that. You got a 7-foot wingspan. Most of the time, you're going to probably block the shot or make it difficult for them to shoot it. So, like, why are you flopping? And it's like the last few games where he's just focused on balling. It's like, yeah, he's put up some special stuff. 30 points. That's not a big difference between the 20. That's not a big difference between the 20. That's just focus.
But I don't think the Clippers have enough after him. Guys like Reggie Jackson, he's a knucklehead. Morris Twin. As you go down the Clipper roster, I don't know if they're going to step up and, like David said, Lord Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to start calling him, Lord Donovan Mitchell. He's been balling out.
He's got a lot of wear and tear on him, though. He's breaking down. It's like, he's breaking down. It's like I watch some of those games, and I don't really like watching Utah play. I don't. It's like it's horrible. I don't like watching this style of play.
Why?
Because now it's just like no rhyme or reason. They're just jacking up threes. Like they jack up a lot of threes, and Donovan Mitchell drives to the basket. I can stomach it sometimes when Conley is playing because he kind of like gets them in a groove. They play in a groove.
Well, he's the point guard. Donovan has to between him and Ingles, they're sharing the ball now. Ingles is really the better point guard, if you want to call him that, when they're on the floor together right now, because he's been playing a point while Conley has been injured and not playing. But I see Donovan Mitchell do the same thing that you accuse Giannis of doing. Ingles is like, I got it, and he's like, whatever. I'm about to take this 3.
They had a blackout.
Somebody working the lights is asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, they were inbound and the lights went out.
Psych. Who was inbound? Sixers?
Yeah.
It's like,
Maybe where they playing at?
They're in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Three Stooges.
Yeah, somebody might have did that on purpose.
Yep. It's 2 minutes and it's a 1-point game. Philly's up 94-93.
See, and this is where those missed free throws, and this is where that comes in to bite you. And this is where that comes in to bite you.
Yeah, because this is what I was saying. They had to put Simmons on the line. In a close game at the end.
That was some good D by Max.
No, it was. There was nothing. Yeah.
If 76ers lose this series, I can see Doc getting fired too. I can see him being part of the purge.
Wow. Yeah.
I can see him being part of the purge. Yeah. Yep. I can see him being part of the purge.
He brought some of that Clippers magic over.
Yeah, the coaching purge. I can see him be a part of it.
Let's
Budenholzer. If they don't win a championship, I can see Budenholzer being part of the purge too.
Right. Let's move on a little. Phoenix Suns Chris Paul is out indefinitely with COVID. How will this affect the Suns going forward in the playoffs?
Yeah,
that's tough. He's been playing some good ball too. I hate to see it. I'm not. I've said it before. I'm not really a Chris Paul fan, but he has given them. He's led that team. And you hate to see a team get this far and then have something like this happen. I mean, injuries are part of the game, but the COVID situation. Yeah, I guess it's 2020, 2021, so it's par for the course. So it happens, but I hate to see it. Really, and I'm not rooting for them, but that's all I can say is
well, they got decent backups though. That guy Campaign, he plays like he's been like I watched some quite a few of their games, and it seems like Chris Paul is taking him under his wing. So a lot of the time, only difference is sometimes he plays a little too fast, and it kind of like gets the other guys out of like disjointed because Chris Paul plays in the pocket. He pretty much is like another Chris Paul out there in the sense that he follows the blueprint. He's not trying to I'm not trying to come in there and be a Kyrie. I'm not trying to come in there. I'm gonna follow the blueprint, and we stay consistent. So I think they'll be okay because
depends on who they play, but Chris Paul, I mean, every year is something with him. I don't blame the COVID, because it's not an injury. It's we in the middle of a pandemic, so it's bad luck.
Right.
But he's generally injured at the wrong time, and not debilitating injuries, but injuries where he can't play in a game or be as effective as he can. So I'm a little upset because I wanted to see him go out swinging.
Yeah.
But some guys, I think some guys, it's just like this is as far as you go. No matter, it's like you take a different road. You take a different road.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is as far as you go, and that's it. Now, if the team goes further, that's fine, but you will not pass this point, no matter what.
You get off at this exit.
Right.
Second round.
Yeah. Damn.
Bishop brought up the purge. This is the purge part of the show. Dallas Mavericks, they fired President Donnie Walsh after 20 plus years. Rick Carlisle said he was leaving, stepping away, stepping off. No, he was fired. Rick Carlisle was fired. And this is all transpired after that story came out about Luka Doncic, the star of the Dallas Mavericks, being disgruntled. What are you guys' thoughts on what's going on in Dallas?
I absolutely think it was the Luka situation. I don't know enough about it, so I'll defer. But it's just interesting that one guy's 20 plus years, another guy's 13 plus years, and You never heard, well, at least I didn't hear anything about them being at risk. And then the Luka story
Right.
breaks, and then that week they're gone. So they're showing that Luka is they're putting everything
He's
behind
the
Luka.
Dawn.
Yeah,
He's the Dawn in Dallas. Go ahead, Bishop.
Well, to me, it's kind of like it was only a matter of time before Rick Carlisle got fired.
Yep.
Unless he's a jerk.
Yes,
He's in that same mold as the dude from Denver. And Mike Malone's like always like there's always some kind of complaint, always some kind of like knock on the. It's like, dude, just coach. Like just coach. Like this idea that it's got to be about you, and when they started saying, okay, well, you got Kristaps Porzingis, and well, I made the decision, and so forth and so on. It's like, dude, like you obviously don't. It looks odd to have a 7'6" guy out there shooting 3-pointers when he's the tallest guy on the court, and he just has to catch the ball at the free throw line and shoot over everybody. It looks really odd.
Yeah.
And it's not like you haven't had experience with that because you just finished up with Dirk.
Right.
You just finished up with Dirk. So it's not like you don't have experience with working with a big guy. And I'm not saying run the offense through him, but it's like, dude, like, why'd you get him there if the only thing you want is somebody to jack up threes? You could have just got one of those dudes from Houston.
And he's also brittle.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And his brother's annoying.
Yeah, well, that's another. Yeah.
And Dallas, you paid him
big money.
Right.
There may be some fool out there who will take KP, and this is no disrespect to him, but I'm not feeling him like that.
Yeah. I'm not either. I mean, there was the whole thing of when he was in New York, and then the trade, and everybody's like, what are they doing? And Knicks gave up on him, but he's not healthy. And I mean, I think its history may show that it was the right move.
Oh, it was. They aren't on for once. The Knicks got lucky in the deal, and they don't have a player who's depreciating.
Right.
To get to Donnie Nelson. He's been there for 20 years. He's the person who was inspirational in drafting Dirk and with his father and developing Dirk. He's the reason why Dallas has Luka.
Right.
Luka is upset that Donnie got fired, but there's some other things. I don't think Luka and KP particularly get along. They aren't really friends. You don't have to be friends to work with somebody. But,
right. As we all can, attest to. But
I see some friction there, and the story that came out about Luka, that story was from February. But it's funny, they lose in the playoffs and it comes out now.
Right.
Or it's rehashed now. And I think Dallas did need to make an overhaul. I don't know if Donnie needed to go, but Rick Carlisle definitely needed to go. He's been around for 13 years. He's been a coach at other places. Like Bishop said, he's a jerk. Mike Malone is liked by people. Rick Carlisle, players don't like him. Some of the players that have played for him don't like him. So
I think he's probably one of those people that thinks he's smarter than everybody and lets everybody know it.
Right. He just has that. Well, he's a former Boston Celtic. He has that sneer about him.
Well, yeah. There's that New England smugness.
And I would love to tell him, bro, it wasn't about you in Boston.
Right.
Whatever rings you got, you earned very little bit of it. That was all Larry Bird, Parrish, McHale, even Ainge, and
right.
And DJ, it wasn't
Yep.
about you barely played, bruh. Sit down. And you're not that good a coach. You
Yeah.
lucked up in
Yeah.
having Dirk and having the other pieces that were in Dallas. And you lucked up in getting Luka. It's I don't know. Dallas has a lot of decisions to make. They need to get a coach. They need to get a coach that Luka approves of because
Yeah.
you know he's a star. So
Right.
you paid KP. You're overpaying for Tim Hardaway Jr., who's arguably probably your second or third best player. And he's a free agent, so you're gonna overpay for him. And guess who we gotta thank for that overpaying? The New York Knicks.
That's right. Hardaway is one of those guys that always seems to get his money.
Right.
I ain't mad at it, but you know.
Hey, he should take Mills, the former Knick GM. He should take him on a cruise every year because he got him that $84 million, which is probably maybe 30 or 40 too much. Would you say that, Bishop? Can you hear him, David? I don't hear him.
No, I don't hear him now. Bishop, you there?
Well, anyway, what are your thoughts, David?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I don't have much thoughts. Other than what I'm seeing. Honestly, I don't really care about them. you know, I just know that Luka's not coming to the Knicks.
Right. Knick fans is doing their thing on Twitter. Them fingers is moving. We could get Luka, and we could get this one and that one.
Luka and Zion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good, David.
This one looks like it should be over. It looks like we're going to have a game 7.
It looks that way.
Yeah, unless some miracle at the end. But you notice whenever they're inbounding, they're not even looking at Ben Simmons.
No.
He's out there, but
yeah. Let's move on a little. Continuing the purge, the NBA purge version. The Washington Wizards fire head coach Scott Brooks.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Scott Brooks fan, and he had to go, David.
Yeah. So looking at all this purging, I saw something posted, which they always do, about these vacancies, and then they put up all the pictures of the various black coaches.
Right.
Who do you think deserves another shot? I mean, it's always obligatory. They put Mark Jackson up there, and I don't know, something the league doesn't like him or something. I don't know, but
Mark Jackson has some sins that and baggage. Listen, I think he's a good coach, but you can't bring religion to work. You can't really bring certain politics to work, which he did.
Exactly. Yeah.
My thing with him, and I'm a Mark Jackson, the player fan.
Yeah, me too.
Mark Jackson had this thing in Golden State where he brought religion to the job, right?
Yeah. But
then he was getting extorted by a hooker and a pimp.
Right. See, that's the thing. I think the religion part of it, people don't really care how you worship.
Right.
But when you, like you said, when you bring it to work and you come across maybe a little holier than thou,
Right.
then people
And
are waiting for
right. And
as
your
soon as
backyard is dirty.
That's right. That's that exactly. And then that's where people are like, you see, because you made me feel a certain type of way because I'm not,
Right.
quoting scriptures, and then you
Right.
you're doing X, Y, and Z. That's where you get the heat. So a lot of guys are religious, but you would not necessarily know it, or it doesn't mix, come into the workplace.
Right.
And then
right.
you respect that. But when somebody comes in there and everything is, overtly religious to the point where they make you feel like you are a sinner, then when the stuff starts coming out about them, people are not as forgiving.
Right. Right. And let me say this. I could care less about anybody doing that,
right.
going and engaging in buying sex.
Yeah, right.
That's on you.
Right.
I don't care about that.
Right.
It's just that it's a bad look when you're preaching one thing and you're doing another. And I think
hypocrites.
Right. And I think that still is following Mark Jackson around. Now he is as well as being a good coach, he's also a good announcer. So he's still able to be in basketball and still work.
Yeah. Oh, Bishop Beck.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm laughing because it's like, you can't be on the sidelines, but you can be in the commentator box.
Right.
Right.
And they have a good team.
Right. And let's be clear. I used to work with somebody who's a groupie.
Mm-hmm.
She was dating Anthony Mason, right?
Right.
And then this same young lady, I remember I hadn't seen her for a while and I ran into her in a bar. And I didn't ask her what she was doing, just kind of how you doing? What's up with you? I hope you're fine. Well, I'm not seeing Anthony more. This is when Sam Cassell was on the net. She's like, I'm seeing Sam Cassell now. And I'm like, I asked you all of that.
Right.
And then, it's groupies are part of the NBA. Rich people, rich men deal in buying sex.
Always.
It's just what they do.
This is all this time.
Whether they're married or not married. So
the barter system.
Right. Yeah, so Mark Jackson doing that, I don't care about, but it's Mark, you can't be coming in here preaching the Bible to me and you out on 42nd Street on the stroll.
Right. Well, that's the problem.
Where I see the hypocrisy on both sides of that is when Mark Jackson was in the facility, they allowed him to hold the services and so forth. Yeah. They were fine with his, super, spirituality religious and so forth.
Right.
Until he started talking about what their transgressions are. And then once he started talking about what their transgressions are, then he immediately became the persona non grata.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, all right. And then we're going to deal with that. We're going to handle that. And it's been handled. Because he's a good coach. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. From what I can see, he's a good coach. A lot of these guys, and he basically instilled confidence in guys to say, okay, well, you know what? Maybe they don't see it. The rest of the league doesn't see it. The rest of the world doesn't see it. Right. But I see it. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue doing what you're doing and take it to the next level. So,
yeah, I can see that.
So,
yeah, but funny story. Bill Belichick, coach of the New England Patriots, used to coach here, in New York. He got a skeleton. We never talked about it on the show, but I remember an article being written in the New York Press about him, and I'm sitting there going, "Damn, Bill be getting around." Bill Belichick was messing around with a secretary who worked in the Giants organization. Guess that was his side piece. We gonna use the slang. That was his side piece.
Right.
Yo, he bought the side piece a house. He was giving the side piece money.
That's a good piece. That's a good piece.
Yeah.
Right. They went into a real estate business together, and then it got shaky for Bill because they start fighting.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah, because if you're gonna wifey me, then you can't.
Exactly.
Then you can't. Then now you can't decide to treat me like the side piece. If you doing all of this stuff, you putting me in a position, and now you want to. It's like, no, it's not gonna work for me.
So how come his story doesn't reach a wider audience, but Mark Jackson's dalliances does?
Well, that just goes like there's a lot of it's like in golf. In golf, there's a lot of that stuff going on as well, where dudes are swapping wives and having threesomes and all kind of stuff in golf. And I'm like, why did Tiger Woods relent to what people were saying when they doing worse than what he's doing?
Well, you know what Tiger Woods messed up, Bishop? He didn't get out in front of the story. And he didn't stop the story. He just let it. Once it became a snowball rolling downhill.
Yeah.
What you?
One of the things. No, I'm saying one of the things that these guys fail to realize is like, if you have a situation and you married and you have a situation where there's a transgression or whatever, you don't have to defend yourself or trying to come up with an explanation. The one thing that you can stick with is my wife and I, we're working things out. We're trying to get through a rough patch and leave it at that. Pray for us.
Yeah, right.
Hey, that's a smart, prudent thing to do. David Letterman had a situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He came on the show, on the air, and he said,
that's right.
That's the situation between me and my wife. And like you said, Bishop, we working on that, blah, blah, blah. It went away. Right. Tiger Woods didn't say anything. He just let it roll. All his side pieces came out, all cashed in.
But you didn't think she knew about this? Come on, you didn't think she knew about him?
Probably so. He's a
his wife,
multi-millionaire.
Yeah, but I'm saying
you don't think his wife.
Exactly. Right. Like in order for you to be Mrs. Tiger Woods, I got to be able to have these jump offs. And I got to be able to be able to do what I do. And it's like there's no way that she did not know all of those women coming out, and from what I can gather, they were all confirmed. Like it wasn't like he was saying, "Hey, I don't know who this is," or "Hey, I don't know who that is."
Bishop, he had one cell phone. Most players got 3.
Yeah, right.
So you're not even good. You're not even good at what you do.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you don't call the side piece and say, "Hey, this is Tiger. Could you not call me at this? Is Eldrick. Don't call me at this number anymore. Can you stop?"
He
handled that all wrong.
Yeah, he had a side piece for every nationality.
It's like, dude, as much money as you have, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that this.
Some guys know how to make these stories go away.
It's just a sloppy. Yeah, it's just a sloppy.
Sloppy. It
was just real sloppy, and then he relented to everybody else's standard of living. Well, he relented to that, and it's like, nah, dude.
I'd have told everybody, mind your business. Me and wifey gonna handle this.
But you know, I think where some guys mess up is, especially if they have this clean cut image.
Yep.
And then something happens and they still try to hold on to the clean cut image. You're better off just saying, look, I made a mistake. I'm not perfect. But you can't make the mistake. It becomes public and then still try to act like you are this image because that's shattered. And I think so that's where people become unforgiving. So, like, you go back to Belichick, like, I didn't know this story. And the reason why I didn't know it was because it wasn't made into a big story.
It was a little blurb in the newspaper. I saw it. I was like, oh, snap.
But I'm not shocked because Belichick has never portrayed himself as a choir boy to begin with.
Right.
You know, so I think that's where some of the guys mess up is they still try to maintain the facade, even though it's already been exposed. And then people are like, well, look, if you want to play this out like this, then we're going to still talk about it. You know, it happened. You know, he had a transgression, which a lot of people have, but don't then still, like, you know, with going back to Mark Jackson, you still can't get up there and then start you know condemning other people for their sins. You know, people say you might want to sit this one out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he apologized.
He probably won't get a job this cycle.
Yeah,
but the other people are like the Chauncey Billupses, the Darvin Hams, the brother that's on the Nets bench who was getting interviews.
Udoka?
The previous cycle. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name. How do you pronounce his name again?
Udoka.
Udoka. Yeah, he's him and Chauncey actually had second interviews with the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, it's like with Mark Jackson, there's 8 coaching jobs available. 8. And potentially 2 more. So my math, at least one more. Because I think the patience is worn out in Milwaukee.
I think so too.
The patience is worn out in Milwaukee. And Doc, it's somebody's gonna have to pay, because to me it's like when the trigger needed to be pulled to get James Harden on the 76ers, they didn't do it, and Simmons was the chip that they didn't want to part with, and I'm like, I don't understand why not. Like that, I don't understand. It's like with Harden on that team, like you guys would be, it would be hands down. It's either you or Brooklyn coming out of the East, and they just wouldn't do it. And it's just like now it's coming back, and it's just like, yo, like, yeah, it could be 9. It could be 9 vacancies, and there's no. Some of these coaches like Stan Van Gundy, he's not going to get another opportunity. I don't think Scott Brooks.
They shouldn't. Listen, between them, Rick Carlisle, Scott Brooks, Stan Van Gundy, Clifford, who got fired in Orlando, all those guys have had a decade or more, you know, with different teams.
Yeah.
Mike Malone is not safe either.
Yeah, that's debatable. But those guys, none of them except for Carlisle have won anything. Carlisle only has 1 chip.
Right.
They all need to go. You know, like you've been saying, Bishop. We needed tired of this, you know, recycling, and those guys have been recycled over and over. Van Gundy has had 3, 4. He's been with 3, 4 organizations already. It's time to go. Sit it out like your brother.
Yeah, right. What do you guys think about? I haven't heard anything recently about, but the thing with Portland where they were talking to, who was that? Dawn Staley and
Becky Hammond, Chauncey Billups. Yeah. Unfortunately, Mike D'Antoni. I don't know why anybody's still talking.
He's a name that, you know, continues to.
Boston was trying to interview him.
Yeah, why? You know why? But what do you guys think about even the thought of Becky Hammond?
You know, Dawn Staley. I got a crush on her. That's my boost.
Remember her from back in college?
Yeah. I think she'd be a good coach. I think Becky, who has put in the work already as an assistant coach, would be a good choice. I'm not a big fan of Chauncey Billups, but I think Chauncey Billups deserves a chance, and he probably would be a decent coach. Even Jason Kidd, as snarky and bad as his reputation is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He's not a bad coach. He's getting some bite as well.
Yeah.
That's the one I say. Grant Hill. Grant Hill does an excellent analyzing the games.
But I think Grant Hill's an owner right now.
Grant Hill's with part owner with Atlanta.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He fired his coach. He got rid of that fool.
Yeah.
It's like to me, it's like Mike Malone is done. It's like there's nothing that he can do further with that Denver team. They need somebody who's gonna be able to come in and make them a serious contender. He's done as much as he can do, and it's like that's it. It's not like it's not you, it's us.
Yeah,
it's one of those situations.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
exactly.
It's funny. Luke Walton still has a job in Sacramento. I'm waiting for that domino to fall, but I don't. He recently got endorsed, though.
Yeah, that Bishop said it. Nobody cares. Some franchises get kind of lost. Nobody.
Who wants that job? Who wants that job?
Yeah.
Who wants that job?
They actually have some talent.
Yeah, but they stuck with the kid that they drafted so high, and he can't stay healthy. Then the father was talking about they wanted to trade. It's like, dude, your son plays. Like, first of all, shut up. We're not even talking to you.
What's
your son is a grown man. The left-hand kid, the left-hand forward.
Ooh, Fox?
No, on Sacramento. What's his name? He's a forward. He's really athletic. And 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
And he cannot stay healthy. He's always he'll start the season off pretty good, and then Sacramento. Let's see.
Who is it?
I'm getting there. So Buddy Hill. Oh, Marvin Bagley.
Oh, Bagley, yeah, the third, right? Yeah,
I'm not enamored with him.
Yeah, right. Bagley,
he's all right.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was supposed to be him and Fox. Was supposed to be, but it's like, dude, he's always hurt. He's always hurt.
Jay-Z said eloquently, he's okay, but he's not real.
Right. Yeah.
They got him and they got Whiteside. They got Fox and Halliburton, but
listen, Sacramento ain't going anywhere because Luke Walton isn't a good coach, and whatever. Let's talk about the trade. It was a trade today. Boston Celtics traded Kemba Walker and their first-round pick in the upcoming draft to the OKC Thunder for Al Horford, a second-round pick, and Moses Brown. What do y'all think of that trade?
That was Al Horford. That was Brad Stevens as his first act as the general manager,
right?
GM as his first act screwing over Kemba. Because maybe him and Kemba didn't get along or whatever it is. I don't know.
Kemba didn't fit, bro.
Well, he didn't.
Kemba didn't fit with the team they have. So
I wouldn't say he didn't fit. It's like they didn't. The way his offense is structured, there's very limited opportunity for a point guard to score. Most of the shots it's Tatum and Brown.
No, bro. Kemba Walker is a me first point guard. He's gonna score first and pass later. So he doesn't fit with the team that moves the ball and has a free flowing offense like Boston.
Yeah, but that's what he did when he was there. That's what he was there when. That's what he did when he was there. He didn't go out and try to score points. He facilitated.
He wasn't being himself.
Because that's the offense that they had didn't allow him.
How did it look?
Huh?
It looked disjointed, didn't it?
Right.
Because Kemba wasn't being himself.
So unless he's going to be break plays, the coach had a system where it didn't allow for a point guard to score points. And I'm like, okay, so you saw how it could work if you got a point guard that can score. With
Bishop,
IT,
that's what I was getting ready to say. Listen, he didn't. Tatum and the rest of them did not mesh
Right.
on the floor fully with Kemba, and it's
Yeah.
a bad trade. He should have waited and tried to get something a better piece than Al Horford, who's 35 and paid ridiculous amount of money. But you know what? He's not paid as much as Kemba is, so they slashed salary so that they could pay some of the other guys they have on their team. They want to pay Fournier, so they slashed about 25 to 30 million in moving Kemba for Al.
So what is it about Boston and point guards that not sticking there? Because Kyrie burned sage when he got out of there.
Well, Kyrie didn't mesh with the locker room, and same thing. A guy who wants to dribble. Kyrie want to dribble, and score, and score some more.
Yeah.
And their offense is predicated on ball movement. The ball sticks in Kyrie's hands, so
right.
Didn't fit. He was right to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that situation got disjointed because the coach was trying to force Gordon Hayward down the team's throat. And it's like, we were doing it when he wasn't here. He's clearly a shell of himself now.
Right.
So why would I take a step back to allow him to come in the forefront when I can do it myself? This is Tatum and Brown. And then you get Kyrie, who is like, okay, well, if he gonna allow them to do that, then I'm just gonna get my numbers. And I got the ball in my hand, so I'm for sure gonna get my numbers.
Right.
I'll make it about me. But all of the issues started when he tried to force feed Gordon Hayward down their throat, and he gonna restructure everything to fit Gordon Hayward, and it was just like it was too late. Too late. It's like, yo, that has come and gone. You're not gonna be able to put that genie back in the bottle. It's like, yeah, I already got a taste of the prime time, and you want me to take a step back and watch this guy?
Right.
Nah,
right.
I'm not doing that. So I'm not a Kyrie fan, but I won't put all of that on him. I think that was Brad Stevens losing control once the dudes didn't accept what he was trying to sell. They didn't accept it.
No, they didn't accept Kyrie. They had blow-ups in the locker room.
Yeah. Subliminal mind games. Kyrie say some underhanded stuff, then Jaylen Brown come back and say something, then Tatum come back.
Well, if you put Kyrie and Brown together, those are two very smart guys, and so they probably was saying a whole lot of subliminal stuff, mind games.
Yeah, but listen, he jumped the gun on this trade.
That was disrespectful to Kemba.
Well, Kemba will be all right.
No doubt.
OKC, I don't know if they're gonna keep Kemba, but OKC isn't a bad place to land. They treat their players well, and they have a gazillion. They just acquired another draft pick. They got a trough full of draft picks.
Yeah. I was wondering too if they made the trade to maybe move him. I don't know if he's going to sit there.
And of course, Knick fans. I saw a brother on Twitter who I follow. He's like, so if OKC buys out Kemba, do we make a run at him or do we make a run at LaMelo Ball? How about we make a run at neither?
Kemba is 31.
Yep, 32.
So I'd
with
like
mileage.
to see, right, with mileage. I'd like
mileage.
to see, we need a point guard, but I'd like to see them draft a real point guard.
Right. Listen, I like LaMelo Ball as a player, but he doesn't shoot enough for me. I know he statistically shot better this year, but he still runs real cold a lot of times.
Is it LaMelo or Lonzo?
I meant Lonzo. Excuse me.
Okay,
I meant Lonzo. LaMelo won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I'm happy for the kid.
Yeah, I'm happy for both of them.
Yeah. And the father hasn't said much, so
nope.
It's a win all the way around.
Well, he did what he was supposed to do. He did. He got them to the NBA. He got people to look at them.
Yeah.
And see what all the fuss was about that he was making. And mind you, Lonzo isn't a star.
Right.
LaMelo is touch and go on whether he can be a star, but he's going to be a productive player.
Right.
So job done by Mr. Mouth.
Yeah, I guess he gave up on the middle child and just
the middle child is stuck. He's a 6'5" power forward, and ain't many of them around.
Nope.
He's not PJ Tucker, who's a 6'5" power forward.
Right. Yeah. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Is that what they say?
Yeah, I remember when they had a glut of talent on Boston. They had a glut of talent. They had picks. They had a bunch of young players. And it was the prime time for them to start their rebuild and to start, getting pieces, like veteran pieces, along with the rookies and with the first and second year players. Nah, they stopped at a certain point, and then it was like, okay, so you playing a card game, and you know that people need your cards. Mm-hmm. You know that people need certain cards to make matches, but you just hold it in your hand. It's like it doesn't.
But now trading, I wouldn't have given OKC a number 1 pick. Whether that number 1 pick is a lottery pick or not, because that pick isn't a lottery pick because Boston is in the playoffs. But I wouldn't have given up that first round pick.
So what did besides Al Horford, what did Boston get?
They got a young player named Moses Brown, who's a 7'2"
Moses Brown,
2 center who's developing.
Yeah. Okay.
He was okay the year before, and he got a little better this year. Got a little bit more playing time.
Okay.
It's potential in him to be, a good player.
Yeah.
And you can't teach size. He's 7'2".
So you got what's the dude that's 7'6" or whatever? The dude from
Bo?
No,
No, not Bobo. The other kid, I can't think of his name right now. I'll tell you in a second.
So you just drafting freak of nature players that don't have the stamina and can't go.
Knicks fans wanted that guy too, and I'm like, what do y'all see a name and y'all immediately go crazy. What is the homeboy's name?
Taco Fall.
Oh, yeah, Taco Fall. Right, yeah.
Well, I like Taco. Taco's fun.
Yeah, but
I like tacos too, but only on Tuesday.
I got you. Yeah, Taco Fall is like 7'5".
It's a project.
Now you getting that 7'2" guy, and it's like, okay, you need a big man. You need to get somebody in there that's going to man the middle. You don't need him to be a top flight scorer. You just need somebody to block some shots, protect the rim, get some putbacks, and be a deterrent. That's all. It's like you get a 7'2" guy. You get a 7'2" guy, unless he's like, an athlete like that, he ain't gonna be in the games because he can't hack the wear and tear. So it's like, so what did you really get?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you really get?
7'5" is just ridiculous.
Because again, if he wasn't playing in OKC, what make you think he's good enough to play in Boston? Because there's expectations in Boston.
True. I'm just thinking, like, if you're 7'5" and there wasn't basketball, what are you going to do? How do you, like? I'm trying to think, what kind of job do you get being that tall? Like washing windows and stuff? I know it's like a freak. I wouldn't want to be that big.
You got to get special beds made, special clothes, shoes.
Exactly. It's too expensive. I mean, I like to buy off the rack.
I'm saying, like, those guys that's that tall, there's only been a few that actually have been part of a rotation.
Yeah.
There's only been a few. The dude in Utah, the big dude in Utah, the center, Sean Bradley.
Oh, right, yeah.
There hasn't been a whole host. Rick Smits.
7'6". Mark Eaton was 7'3".
Yeah, so there hasn't been like a whole host of those kinds of like freak of nature players.
Till his feet gave out.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's 4 right there.
Actually play.
Yeah. So could Sean Bradley.
Yeah.
So could Sean Bradley, but these guys were just fragile.
Yeah.
Well, it's their size. Oh, Dallas has a guy on their team right now, 7'5". He looks like Frankenstein.
Oh,
the guy with the ears?
Yeah. But he called him Lurch. He's like, you right.
Yeah, he can actually play, though.
Boban.
I like Boban.
He flagrant filed somebody and then sent them a blanket to say, I'm sorry. So how could you be mad at a guy like that? How could you be mad at? How could you? It's like, yo, I'm sorry. Here's a blanket to wrap yourself up and stay safe.
Stay warm.
Hey, fellas, you know Knick fans are out there. I love Knick fans, but y'all be straight bugging. They want Mike Conley. They want Lowry. They still want CP3. They want Kemba Walker. They think we're gonna get Luka and Zion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is New York, so it makes for fun,
banter.
Banter, and Newsday is slow, and they can talk about that. You can rile up. I mean, they do the same thing. As a Met fan for years, it was always, oh, let's get this guy, let's get that guy. That's what fans do. But some of these guys just like, it's where fandom crosses over to fantasy, and then you start to it's fun to always say, well, it'd be cool to have this guy or that guy, but some of these guys like really believe it, like it's like legitimately can happen, and that's where it gets dangerous.
Right. First of all, Luka isn't going anywhere. Zion isn't going anywhere. No time soon.
Don't matter what the rumors of what the family members are saying. It's like, since when is that even a story? Since when is that even a story?
Exactly.
Since when? Yeah.
We got a contract with Zion.
I'm Zion's third distant cousin on his uncle's side, and
he don't like the organization.
Right.
It's a family member.
Right.
It's a family member. Yeah. Okay.
Unnamed family member.
The only family member of recent note who has sway is KP's brother, and because he's KP's agent.
Yeah. Right.
But hey, how much of an agent can you be when he's supposed to get X amount of dollars, and the team gave him X amount of dollars? But he was a guy who helped usher him up out of New York. Good job.
Yeah, good job. Well, one of them will be working.
Right. Y'all got anything else y'all want to talk about? Because I have to get up in the morning.
Yeah, I think
we all do.
Well, we hope that's the plan.
Yeah.
Right. Remember,
Nah.
I want to thank y'all for riding it out with me. I
Yes,
was
sir.
fronting tonight, you know.
Yeah, he's licking his wounds. He licking his wounds. He in the corner somewhere licking his wounds. We need to give a wellness check after we
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everybody does a wellness check for him because
Always pretending like he can't send emails.
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
it's not gonna be safe. It's not gonna be safe.
Family, y'all see what's there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's
Yes, sir.
In the Paint Media Group. I'm Max611. I want to thank the Bishop. I want to thank David. I want to thank my brother Ronan in the chat room. Marshall couldn't be with us because he said he was at work. I want to give a shout out to Marshall. This is In the Paint. Check us out every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We haven't been on consistently on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, but we plan on doing that eventually. But hopefully we'll see you Monday. Peace.